Hello, my friends. Time for another fantastic Revit tip. All right. So today we're going to talk about restoring backups. And there's a lot of different kinds of backups in Revit because there's so many different ways that you could be working. Okay. So there's three that I'm going to talk about today. Three. Okay. That one is if you just start a Revit project and you're just the only one working in it, and it's not a work sharing project, which means you haven't turned it into a central file with local files and working collaboratively with your team. You're not doing that yet. So you've got just a plain old typical Revit file. And you might need to go back in your into your directory somewhere and get a backup because you've made some decisions or you've accidentally deleted something and you need to go get a backup. That's number one. We're going to talk about that. When the file that you're working in is just a plain Revit file and you have not turned it into a work sharing file yet. Okay. Scenario number two is when it is a work sharing file and there's multiple people working in the project and you notice, oh my gosh, the roof is missing and I don't know when it disappeared. I think it disappeared yesterday. Maybe it disappeared last week, but no one was working on the roof. We were all kind of focused on the floor plans and the roof is gone. We need to get a backup. Okay. So that's another scenario. So you've got a typical work sharing, a typical project that's not work sharing, and then you've got a work sharing project. But then there's another scenario where you're working on BIM 360 and you're like, uh-oh, same scenario. Let's see. The roof is gone. Does anybody know when it disappeared? Does anybody have any idea? And nobody knows when it disappeared. How would you go get a backup on BIM 360 and try to find that roof? Okay, so I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Yeah, here we go. Okay, and so what I want to do is, first of all, here I am in this project, and I'm working in my project, and this is non-BIM 360. And I'm working along, la, 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 la. And I'm working, la, 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 and I hit save, and I hit save. It's saving somewhere when I hit save, right? Right? Okay. What it's doing is it's saving full copies of itself in Revit. Like I am in an RVT, which is a Revit file, a Revit project file. When I hit the save button, it saves my it saves the file in a full Revit file. Okay. And let's just say I'm going to click on this roof and la la la, I accidentally delete it. What? It's gone. And I hit save. Oh, the roof is gone and I hit save. And let's just say I close for the day. And when I come back, oh, the roof is gone. I need my roof back. How do I deal with that? This is the typical Revit file that doesn't have, it's not work sharing yet. So let's just go in our folder structure to where we have the file, okay? And you guys have the file somewhere on your directory structure. So let's see, it might be in one of these three folders. BIM 360 project, no, not that folder. A central file, work sharing, no, not that folder. Wait a minute, a non-central file, typical. I'm making yes, it's in that folder. You would probably have a folder structure on your server of all your projects. You just go to that folder and find the location, and it's going to look something like this, okay? This bottom one right here that doesn't have all these numbers next to it is the main file that we actually have opened right now in Revit. But as we hit the save button, it's making a copy of itself, a full copy. I'll pull this down. Look at the file size. They're all just about the same. That means whenever you hit save, it is making a full copy of itself in this directory. The one that we are currently working in is the one right here that doesn't have the numbers. The highest number one is the last one you just saved. So this one right here, number 4, would be the last one I just saved a couple of minutes ago. Okay. And look at this. A couple hours, 4 hours before that one, number 3 was saved. And looks like only a minute, the same within a few seconds. Number 2 was saved, but on the 14th, look at this, April 14th, at 15 minutes before this, 20 minutes before this one, that was saved. So I've got a little bit of a history here of this file. And if I want to restore this guy back and use it, all I got to do is rename this file. So when you see these iterative numbers in Revit, that means your file is not a central file yet, and you're safe to open any one of these other files to check to see if your roof's in it. You could click on one of these, like this number 4 right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to change the name of it to look. Possible roof here. You see, you can name it whatever you want, because that's the one I'm going to go now in Revit and open to see if the roof is there. And if it is there, with the 2 projects open, I can do a copy paste. I can copy the roof into the project and paste it. Copy it from the possible roof is here backup and paste it into my current project to get my roof back. Okay, that's the simplest way to get a backup. So we're going to go on now to another project. Let's go back to Revit. Let's suppose we're sitting here, and I'm just going to hit undo because, okay. Let's suppose we're sitting here working in Revit, and let me go ahead and delete the roof. Okay. I'm sitting here working in Revit, and I glance over, and let's suppose I am in a project that actually does have, it is a work sharing project. So there's multiple people working on it, and this project's on my server. It's on BIM360, it's on my server. And I just happen to look up and I go, hold it. We are missing a roof, people. Everybody, we are missing a roof. Who deleted the roof? Everybody stop for a second. We got to find this roof, okay? Same as the other project that was not a work sharing project. This one, we're in here and there's lots of people working, and I just get a hold of everybody and say, can you just stop for a minute? We've got to figure this out. And so what I have to do is get a backup, and that's what this video is for, getting a backup. So in the project, what I can do is I can come up here to the top of the screen where it says, and I hope that you can see the top of the screen. Okay. On the Collaborate tab, you'll see 2 buttons up here that are important to us. Show the history and restore backup. The restore backup is the most important. If you hit the button show history, you can go look. I'm going to just go here to my documents folder, backup files. Look, work sharing folder. This is where that project is. The project file is the RVT file. And what it's doing every time you hit save, it's not, you'll look in this directory, it is not making 001, 002, 003, 00587. It's not making iterative numbers. Once a file is a central file, it doesn't do that anymore. All it does is it saves just the changes that you make. You change the material of something, or you change the height of something, or the location of something, or you add a plumbing fixture or whatever. In Revit, it doesn't, when you hit save, it only saves the changes, not the whole project. And it saves them in this folder called backup. Okay. So when I click on show history, I want to show history of this file, the RVT file. So if I click on the RVT file and hit open now, it will list, wait for it, there it is. It lists the history. This history right here, you can kind of look back through and you'll see, if I'm the only one working in this file right now, but if other people had saved, there'd be other people's names here. One, Johnny saved at 2 o'clock, Sally saved at 4 o'clock, and then Marcus saved at 1 o'clock yesterday. You'll see people's names and when they saved. So this gives you a heads up. You're like, okay, good. Other people have been working in the project, and I could go back and get a viable backup from one of these. But this is not the interface where you go to get the backup. This is just to look at the history. So once you kind of glance here and you know there that you do have a file, you're like, oh, bingo, we can get our roof back. Like yesterday, some Mike saved, and we can go get that back. Okay, so I'm just going to hit close. The button you need to click on is Restore Backup button, okay? And when you click that button, it wants to know you go to that look at this. I'm gonna go to, here's our 3 folders. We know the work sharing file is in this one right here, Central File Work Sharing. So I open it, you just browse to this folder, but you'll notice that the RVT file is not showing, because we're in the process of restoring a backup. It's only looking for these folders that have the word backup at the end of it. This is where it's been storing the changes that I've been making to my file. So when I click on that backup folder and hit open, it opens it with a similar list that we saw a minute ago. It's the same list, the same the people will be listed right here, and the time and date that they saved the file are right there. But in this interface, this is where you can actually get a backup. The current file that I'm working in is going to be up at the top, and it even says current. But all the iterations of the changes, not the full Revit file, just the changes have been saved at different times in this file structure. So what I could do, I can click on one that I'm like, shoo, we got one from 2 or 3 hours ago or 2 or 3 days ago, whatever. I can click on number 8 here, which is 3 days ago. I'm sure to have the roof in that. Now, you have to be careful, because if you click this button right here, roll back, it will roll your current file back all the way to this one, and it will undo all of the changes that have happened to that file all the way back to this one, which could be 3 or 4 days ago, and that's a lot of man hours and a lot of work lost. So I don't suggest you hit that button, okay? That's like a last resort button. The button right next to it is the one you want, Save As, because I highlight this one, I click Save As, and I can save it out into the folder structure, and it will save the file with the exact changes and the exact configuration it was on that day and that time. And then I can open that and see if the roof's in there. And if it is, I can again do the copy paste from that project into my current file and not lose everybody's work that's been working for the last 3 days, but I can just copy and paste the roof in, okay? That's how you deal with getting a backup of a file from a file that is a work sharing file on your server, okay? Now, let's go look at a file that is in BIM360. Wait a minute, how do we do that? Okay, let me show you. So if we go back to this folder structure, backup files, if I open up this folder, BIM360 project, there's no files in there. Duh, all the files are online on BIM360. You cannot get a backup off of your server, okay? There's Okay, let me just, to keep it simple, you have to go get a file offline, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but you do it with Revit or on BIM 360. Now, there's two different things going on. I'm going to go to the project really fast. Let's just say I'm going now. I just went to acc.autodesk.com, okay, which puts me, and I can go to my project online. This is online. This is not Revit. This is online, okay? And I can go to my project files folder, and then I can go to Revit models, and then I can go to the architecture folder. And I finally get to my architect's office. That's the file I want, okay? Let's just say that's the one I really want. And I'm moving my base over here for a second. You'll notice in line with the file that I want to go, I need to get a backup to see if I can find that roof. So there's one file here online that I've been opening every day. My team has been opening it every day. We've been working every day, and we hit save every day. But periodically, friends, you publish your project. Hopefully you do. You hit publish, and it publishes a copy of your file up online. The file that you've been accessing through Revit and working on, it makes a copy up online, so that online you could come here and retrieve a copy of it. So take a look. Right here next to the architect's office, you'll notice under version, it's at version 7. If you've been publishing every day or every week, your number is going to be way high. It could be in the hundreds. So if you click on that number, that blue number right there, mine says V7. When I click on it, what it does, it shows me the version history. It shows me a line item for every time I hit save onto the internet. I mean, not hit save. Every time I hit publish, and it published my current file in Revit, it published it up onto the website. And that's where I am right now, at acc.autodesk.com in my project. So look at this. This is the current file. That one doesn't have a roof in it. But look at this. I can look at the time date stamp all the way down to the first version in the project. And this is going to be a long list if you are have been working on a project for a long time. But take a look on there. There is a little button copy, which is, you could copy this to make a folder online and copy it into that folder and then open it and check it. You could check it there and see if it has a roof in it, and then copy it and paste it into your new project. Or you can hit this button, download the source file, and that will download that file onto your computer, and then you can open it there and check to see if it has a roof in it. But this gives you the opportunity to open up any file, any version that you have published. And you might look at me and say, oh my gosh, we haven't been publishing. We've been working on BIM 360 and we haven't published. In fact, our version number is like on 2, and we've been working on this project for a year, and we have not published. And that's when I would say, what? You need to publish more often, but you're not without hope, okay? Got a surprise for you. You still can get a backup. Because you can't go back all the way a year. You can probably only go back about 20 saves back, but you still can do it, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. There's still hope for you, okay? So in Revit, I'm going to pop back to Revit. If I'm sitting here in Revit and I need to get a backup of the project, what I can do is go right here to, wait for it, I can go open up Look at this. Where is it? The architect's office online. I can go open that project. Wait for it. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Hold on. My brain, having a brain fart right now. Okay. This is the project online. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on architect's office. Okay. And I'm going to actually open this file online. Wait for it. It's coming on. Wait for it. I should have had this open before I called you guys to come to this video. Okay, the architect's office is opening up. La 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 la. La. It's almost done. Wait for it. Dang. Okay, we're almost there. And wait for it. Complete. Okay. So this is the project. I've got it open now on BIM360. And if I say, wait for it, if I am working here in BIM360, I can go up to collaborate, okay? And I could go manage my models, but look at this, manage models. And it's easier to go right here. Dang, this thing, it's always doing this to me. Autodesk documents. Oh, that was the button I was looking for. Autodesk documents, instead of just opening the file. In fact, I don't even know if you have to open the file, but I'm going to go to Autodesk Docs, and here's my virtual BIM management architect's office. Okay, after a major brain fart, I'm finally back with you guys. I clicked on my Autodesk Docs, and I went to my project, and now I'm going to project files. Wait for it. Revit models, yes. And there's the architecture folder, yes. And friends, there's the file. I'm in Revit now, like as if I was going to open the project. And a second ago, I wasted your time and I did open the project, but this is how I want you to go to get your backup, the secret backup. Okay, look, I go to the file that's right here, okay? And if I clicked it, it would open. But that's not what I want to do. I want to go all the way to the right. I'm going to move my cursor all the way to the right. And you see those three dots at the end? If you click on those three dots down there, take a look. Version history is one of the options in Revit 2022 and Revit 2023. It's one of the options. I think if you start getting on the older versions of Revit, that doesn't appear. But 2022 and 2023, and now that 2024 is out, you guys should all be seeing version history. And when you click on it, take a look. I'm not kidding. It is, I'm going to try to get my face out of the way here. I'm going to shrink my face down small. Put it way over here. Okay, listen. Look at this. This list is all the times from back in April last year through June, through August, through April. Oh my gosh. This is a backup of every time that this thing was synchronized. Okay? So all I got to do is find the one I like, maybe back here on April 14th. There's three dots clear on the other side. You can click those three dots. You see them? And look at this. Open that file and don't hit restore to that version. That's that dangerous button that restores and wipes out your project and overwrites it. This button opens it. It just opens that exact file that you synchronized way back when, and you can click open, And you can see if the roof is there. If it's not, close it and open another one. And when you finally see the roof, you can copy the roof and paste it into your project. Okay? It is amazing to have this ability to roll back in history and get the file you need. Now, I just had to show you guys, I'm going to stop sharing. I had to show you guys those 3 ways of getting back to restore something that disappeared. And that actually happened to a client just recently. A roof was just gone. And you're like, where'd it go? And they had to roll back into history and get the file. So now, hopefully, if you're on just a typical file, it's not a work sharing file on your server, you'll know how to go back and get a backup, or a work sharing file that's on your server, you can go get a backup. And if it's on BIM 360, you can go get a backup. All right. Well, I hope this video helps. I really do, because sometimes it's a little bit scary when you look at your project and something really important is missing, or your project has crashed and it's locked up and it's not working, or something's going wrong. And you need to go back in history and get yourself a copy from a few days ago or weeks ago or even months ago. Okay? All right. I hope that helps. You guys have a fantastic day. And until we meet again, happy Reviting. All right. Bye-bye.